buttons. Hello and welcome to the Mini Sculpting Super Show Patreon Hangout for November 2018. Antoine is joining me today, and
Hello.
we're lucky we'll get a few more. I am continuing with my tradition of working on my son's miniature for 1 hour a month. No, I need to put in a little more time, but I've been preoccupied brushing up and getting back in the ZBrush groove, but I am kind of itching to do some traditional. Oh man, this is bad. This is not wanting to focus. I'm gonna have to get a piece of paper. Here, I'll get a piece of paper real quick. Maybe that'll help. I think that's helping. Yeah. What are you working on, Antoine?
Same thing as last month. Like
All
you,
right.
I've been working on that an hour a month for the last 3 months.
Oh, that's great.
Not really. But, I just finished a painting commission for a Kickstarter, so that took most of my month out. But it's done, and I'm back to my personal projects now.
Awesome. Hello to Tharkin and Rayoni. I know Rayoni sculpts a lot. I see him on Instagram. Quite a bit. Yeah, very prolific. How about you, Tharkin? Are you working on anything tonight? Hey, Josh. Josh is a good personal friend of mine. You think you're coming to Adepticon, Josh? Or is it still up in the air? All right, I got to get something different. This is...
Maybe just turn the sheet over so you don't have the drawings.
Maybe, but the white is making it very dark. I got something.
Yeah.
This is my original mat, tiny one, but that works well. Now I don't have to move the big thing, and works very well. All right, well, I hope you can make it, man. You're gonna have a blast if you do. Okay, put this up here just a little more. Excuse me. I got these in the mail today. I'm super excited. These are miniatures from Westphalia Publishing or Games.
Yes.
Miniatures. And I totally missed the is it Swordsworn? Is that the game?
Yep.
The Kickstarter for that, but I bought the PDF. I was gonna wait for them to get it back in print, but it was gonna be a while, so I went ahead and bought in PDF. The rules are awesome. Can't wait to play it. And then these miniatures are just, I love kind of just dopey human soldiers. It's one of my favorite things in the world, and these are just have so much character to them. But they were back ordered. They had to they were shipped to me directly from the caster in England, so they didn't even get shipped to Canada first.
Yeah, I have some of their Alphins.
Oh.
I played the Swordsworn with the owner.
At a convention up there?
No, up here in a local store.
Oh, okay.
Just after you moved.
That's awesome. Oh, sweet. Yeah. I couldn't believe how many of the half men. There's several that I want, and I might end up getting them, but
they have some gold cavalry too. I have it somewhere.
I am a huge fan of, is it it's Daniel Maracy. Is that how you pronounce his name? That wrote Swordsworn. He did Dragon Rampant and Lion Rampant. And Swordsworn is just another great game. Oh, wow. We got lots of people on tonight. Hey, Riley. So what is the miniature of? Well, this miniature... Oops, let me pop this off. This is going to be my son's Dark Elf D&D character. And then these are some Westphalia. Your looks like your kind of captain's assistant's pole arm did a little better than mine. Mine's a little warped, so I'm going to try and heat treat that, or if I
mine
have
is
to, I'll just
pretty sharp. It's straight.
Can you do the heat dipping like you can with plastic with resin? Does that work?
Yes, you need to be a bit more cautious, but yes, it works.
All right, great. If not, I can always repin it and just sculpt it. But yeah, these are just super fun figures. Kaysen, just want to say thank you for all you do. No problem, Kaysen. Appreciate you watching the channel. All right. Well, Josh, if I've got to finalize my other roommate, and if for some reason they can't do it, I'll let you know, and you can room with me. So, Andy M, yeah, I'm actually catching one live. Hey, Andy, glad you can make it. And Goblin, awesome to see you back. Says hey to everyone. And then Johnny from Boston, Johnny Frankenstein. That's not my friend Johnny Grogan, I don't think. This is a different Johnny. Well, good. Glad you guys could all make it. Yeah, well, as we sculpt, feel free to share about what you're working on or ask questions, and yeah, let's have a nice little night of sculpting. I think it helped that I gave a little more warning to the wider community that I was doing this tonight. Normally, I don't hit like broadcast and announce it until I'm actually doing it, but I think I posted up like an hour earlier, so hopefully that helped everybody get enough time to prepare and then know that it was coming. My son made me redo the boots that I did for this guy. So I guess I technically did work on him, not just on the stream. I don't remember what I had. I think I had him going up like above his knee and had some weird little shape design, and he was like, "No, that doesn't look right. That looks weird. That would be too cumbersome or something. I just want him flat, straight, right up against the skin." It's like, okay, can I put a buckle on it or something just so it looks more interesting? So that's what I'm going to do. But first I'm going to try and tackle this hair. Oh gosh. I shouldn't put these miniatures in front of me. It makes me, all I want to do is clean them up and assemble them.
That's why I put mine away too.
Yeah. Yeah, those half men that Westphalia makes are so great. I'm especially enamored. They're all great, but all the various cavalry they have, they're just so cute. but serious. It's funny. Do you know if these are all sculpted by Paul Hicks? I believe a lot of them were.
I don't know.
Okay. That's a sculptor that I've kind of recently started to become familiar with, and a real big fan of his work. I believe he did the humans that I have. I'm not sure if he did the half men. I think they have a new Kickstarter going on right now for some elves.
Yeah, for feral elves.
Yeah, very cool take on that, on the elfin trope. Goblin almost forgot about the stream and left for the store to get bolts for the mother mold. Oh, cool. Okay, so Animation Maniac has a question. Would you get issues if you make a big model in ZBrush and then resize it after, like lose detail and have issues during printing? So it kind of depends. If you are sculpting it, very with a lot of detail and perhaps with the idea that it's maybe a 54 millimeter miniature or a 6-inch tall figurine, and then you decide, oh, I want to make this a 28 millimeter miniature, or heck, even if you're making it a kind of a standard 28 millimeter miniature, and then you reduce it to 15 millimeter, yeah, you some things might not work. I mean, you can still try to print it, and it might be usable, but you're certainly gonna miss out on some details. It is fairly important to be aware of what you're going for in the end, because just like when you're sculpting in real life, 15 millimeter versus 30, you're gonna want to compensate and overemphasize certain details so that they can read and cast well. Hey, Protano. Hello from Chicago, coming in late. Is this oven baked clay? Yes, this is Fimo Professional. That's my favorite poly clay, but Bees Putties works very well. You can even use Super Sculpey. I prefer Super Sculpey Firm if I'm using a Sculpey product, but I know Bees Putty is a poly clay, but I almost want to like classify it differently because it just feels. I mean, you can treat it the same, but when you're sculpting with it, it really does just feel like a wax. It's pretty cool. So if you like that sort of feeling over more of a clay, definitely check that stuff out. I'm finalizing my episode on a review of it, so and I plan on doing one more miniature with it too. So I'm excited to get that out there. Ooh, I like this guy with these ears. I should have done them earlier. It's so funny when you can get stuck working on certain elements and details and just forsake other things, but you add one little bit and it, I mean, pointy ears for an elf, and it just helps it all so much. Because this whole time I was like, does his body look like an elf? Is that communicating it? And all I needed was these ears. Animation Maniac says, thanks. Any tips on 28 millimeter for D&D? Well, my videos all focus on that kind of size and scale. So I guess if you're just starting out sculpting, I mean, this won't help you make your own personal hero, but I would suggest starting with something like a goblin or a little creature. That's how I started, and it's been recommended to me that way and by many others as well. You want to start with something that isn't. You can start with a human, but it's very evident when something is wrong. But sometimes you might not quite have the skill to make it look right. But when you work on something that can have kind of off proportions and whatnot, like a goblin or a creature, you're much more forgiving to yourself, and it gives you the chance to just focus on the building the actual skills of learning your material rather than being bummed out that you didn't make the head the exact right size or things like that. How long have I been working on this miniature? I have no idea. It's been in process for many months, but I've only worked on it a couple hours. Probably more than a couple, but he's actually, I know it looks like there's a bit to go. This is actually very close to being done. I really just need to sit down and bang it out because for me, it actually takes a decent amount of time to just kind of build up and feel out and finalize the form. But once I get that done and get like one of the major details like the face, I can kind of flow pretty quick on the details and just start knocking them down. But getting to that point where I feel comfortable to just sit back and tackle the details and not, because I don't like to put in a lot of detail work until I know that the pose and the body shape and everything is where it needs to be. I have a fear of doing too much like extra work, which actually sometimes leads to more work because I noodle around doing nothing because I'm trying to, or seemingly nothing, because you're trying to get it perfect before you move on to the next step. That's right. Goblin says if the creature thing is made up, nobody can tell you it's wrong, and yourself included.
That's why my first miniature was not a human. I tried, failed, and that's why I did the little onion ninja.
Yeah. My first thing was some sort of little frog-faced goblin guy, and then I did a dwarf. My dwarf looked pretty good, but he was short, but he kind of looked tall. But, ooh, I have something else really cool to show. So I'm going to do a official, this is kind of a preview to anybody that's watching this. You get a special preview. I sculpted one of my goblins in ZBrush. See if I can get this to not look so washed out.
Wait, it's a cast of your ZBrush miniature?
Yes, I had it test printed, and let's see if I can move the light. I had it test printed, and they had room in their master mold, so they made me a quick little casting of it. So I got a couple of these, and I'm really glad I did. So whenever you're doing working digital, it's very hard to tell, especially if you're not used to it, if you're putting in enough detail, cutting it in, which I'm actually really happy to see that I did, that I put detail. You can see that it's there, and it resolved, it printed, it cast. There's maybe a couple spots that I could have defined it a bit more, maybe this collar, because it's funny when you blow it up full size, it looks so big and over thick, and you're like, surely that's not enough, but you just always push it a little more. Anyways, but the biggest reason I'm glad is I wanted to, I've done 5 of these characters already, and so I want to make sure the digital ones match up to them in the same kind of size and scale. So he's the right height. This guy's standing up a little more, but I don't know how well it'll come out across on here. His head, their head is actually about the same height. Maybe it needs to be a little shorter, but it's a lot wider, and the eyes are bigger. So I don't know. I probably could just continue down this road, but I really like these ones, and I like what I established with them. So I'm going to go back and adjust this. The other thing is I actually made his feet way bigger. Maybe not his feet, but his toes. They're like way bigger. And again, they look tiny on the screen. I'm like, oh, I better make sure and emphasize them enough. And here they are. They look gigantic. So, but yeah, I'm very close. I feel like it was a very good first shot, especially after being away. This is actually I've done several little creatures in the ZBrush, but I've only ever done 2 like characters, like humanoids, I guess would be the better term. So yeah, that's kind of what's been preoccupying me and why I haven't finished this thing up yet. Yeah, his head's definitely bloated. Bag is too. I don't know what that means. All right, Hendy, let's see. Oh, we got a lot of questions. Let's see. Hendy asked that. Let's see. Thank you, Rayoni, for the nice comment on the goblin. Yeah, all the better for kicking with. Did you sign up for any classes at Adepticon, Antoine?
Yes, I signed up for your Erdu class.
Awesome. That's right. You mentioned that. Thank you.
And the lecture by the other, I think the other is called Masson and then Mason.
Oh, you
Patrick.
got into one of his classes? I was very tempted to take one, but I'm hoping to meet him. He does outstanding work. That's awesome. I didn't sign up for any. I just got my ticket. I'm gonna go back and see if I don't know if you can you register for events after you've already bought your ticket. Do they let you do that?
Yes, they let you if there's
Okay,
still
good.
space.
Right. So, I was frantically trying. The most important thing to me is the swag bag. I'm not as intent on certain particular events, especially because I have to be teaching. So I was like, I didn't look at the preview close enough to plan out what I would be able to take. So I really want to take a painting class with someone, especially on something like speed painting or just doing a good job without taking forever. Just learning some good, solid techniques.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm hoping to do. Maybe I'll just hang out in the
Yeah,
Fort
the
Wappo
painting
paint
lounge.
area and paint with people.
You'll get ample enough of tips and suggestion regarding that.
Yeah. Oh, Protano got into both of mine. Thanks. Awesome. I'm very excited to meet you. We got Gary Ledford. Welcome. I just discovered your channel and made some shields based on your video. Awesome. Yeah, shields are so easy to make once I figured out some of those tricks that I share in that video. They used to seem like quite a daunting thing, but I like them. So yeah, I guess I should reiterate. I'm teaching 2 different classes over the course of 3 sessions at Adepticon in March this year. I've got the 2 classes are sculpting faces, or sculpting mini faces, I think I called it, and then sculpting mini hairdos. So one on sculpting faces, one on sculpting hair. The sculpting face class is offered twice, and the hair is just once. That's a new course, so I don't like to teach it more than once first time because I just want to make sure
Break it in.
I've got it right. Yep, before I stress myself out by having to repeat it and realizing, oh, no. But and this wasn't listed in the description, but I'm going to make some specialty armatures for use in those classes. They're going to be basically a bust, a 28 millimeter bust dolly. So, and it'll have like some sort of bracing, so you can kind of put it in a little thing like this, or tack it onto something, and then you can, you'll have a complete face, and you'll be sculpting hair, and there will be like a dummy spot to sculpt the head, but you'll have reference heads right there with you as well. So excited to do that.
Are your class already near full, or?
They are over half full. One has 4 remaining, one has 5 remaining, and the other has 5 remaining. Somebody just signed up today for one of the face classes. So yeah, I was very pleased because I did well over half last time, but I was teaching 4 classes, so there was a lot more spread there. So I was very excited to see that the 3 filled up we're already at least where I was for those. So
you're providing the small bust.
yep.
Do you have a favorite material to suggest for people to bring? Like I
Well,
usually sculpt with
yeah.
beast body, but should I bring green stuff or something else?
You can bring, if you have green stuff or your favorite polymer clay, you can absolutely bring that, but I will have samples for people to use during the class. So if you don't have any putty because it's your first time, or you always work with bees putty and so you don't have green stuff, I'll have that there. I'll have a little bit of everything. So great question, Antoine. Thanks for filling in those gaps for me. I forget to mention that sort of stuff sometimes, but it's important to know. I'll even have toolkits for people to use, but obviously if you have your own tools, I would recommend that, because you should always work with your own tools, unless you're just wanting to try something new, because you'll be much more comfortable learning techniques when you're using tools you're used to working with. Cool. I gotta finish this hair. I got distracted. All right. Gary says wine bottles are the right shape for scutums. I don't know what that is. What's a scutum? Is that what you use to make your shields? You always so Protano always saves the head and the hair for last on their sculpts. Yeah, because you're afraid of them. I hear that. If you go back on some of these streams, man, I should have been taking pictures of this guy. You'll see actually the head was the first detail I did. That's a little habit I built up because I used to be more terrified of them, of doing the faces. So now it's one of the first things I do, and I've actually found that it helps me move along better for a couple of reasons. One, it's a main central detail that you no longer have to worry about, and it kind of establishes, you're working on the form of the body and getting a lot of the body language down, but when you put the head on, the face on, you kind of set the mood of the character, and it can kind of inform what you're doing everywhere else. At least it does for me. Adam M. Gary, I've just found a really good shield form. The plastic tray medicated throat sweets come in round. Oh, yeah. The right size and slightly convex. The one upside down, getting a cough. Upside of getting a cough. Yep. Yeah, always keep an eye out for things like that, just things in your everyday life that you can use to sculpting. I'm trying to think if I used to have a lot more things like that when I first got started, and just as I've gone on, I've accumulated more like official tools and stuff, but yeah, found objects work great. Scutums are great shields. Gotcha. Wish I could put music on YouTube. They'd shut us down.
You can probably find
How
Road
cold
for
is it?
free.
How cold is it up there?
Right now?
Yeah, not too bad.
No, we had pretty cold temperature the last 2 weeks, but right now we're back to over freezing level. So
That's good. We dipped just below 30 for a day, which is pretty cool down in Kentucky, but
Mhm.
I'm used to it. It's I mean it feels cold because I'm getting used to living in the South, but it's still like nothing compared to even northern Indiana.
I'm googling a transfer because I have no idea, but it was minus. We got to minus 15, minus 20 Celsius, which is about -5, -4 Fahrenheit. We had that for about a
Yeah.
week. That was unseasonal. We usually don't drop
Uh,
that low in November. And we usually don't have snow as early as that, or it doesn't stay if there's snow.
mhm.
Now we have multiple inches.
All right, I'm going to put a more deliberate piece of material, clay on here. Quit being so delicate with figuring out the shape of his hair. There we go. All right, Gary has a question. I'm curious, do you ever consult historical sources for weapons or combat poses? Yes, I have. I have done that. I don't do it as much as I should nowadays, but if I'm working on piece of equipment or something I'm unfamiliar with, I do lots. I look at lots of images, but I don't really concern myself too much with whether it's built exactly correctly or going to work. Like making an axe or hammer with a way larger head. Like, Warhammer is a good example. The size of their axes, nobody. I mean, people complain about big swords, but it would be so hard to wield something with that much weight on one end. I mean, at least a sword is in theory balanced, but it's kind of what you're going for. But you should totally look at reference and understand those things. But if you want to do something crazy and wacky, don't let it stop you. It's not, perfect historical match. Unless that's what you're going for. I have a feeling I'm going to have to consult my son on this hairdo. Whoops. As far as researching poses, yeah, definitely do that, because you want to make sure your stuff looks somewhat natural, even if you're exaggerating. But you'll need to be aware that you need to keep casting in mind. So you might not be able to make the pose exactly how it might be in real life, even if it's not dynamic, because of casting purposes. So you got to kind of find a middle ground with that. We'll let you post a link to what you're working on. Go ahead and try. I don't know if it'll block that or not, Goblin. But I'm okay with it. All right, that's pretty good. All right, I got this tabard thing kind of worked out. I got the hair roughed in. I'm gonna wait for sign off before I kind of put in the actual, start rendering the detail in it though. We'll just leave it as this basic shape for now. Got my ears. I could try and do these, finish off these knives. I'm guessing it's not letting Goblin post his link because nothing has appeared. Did anybody buy Blackstone Fortress? Or just me? I still haven't played it yet.
Looks like a super nice product. I've seen it up close. I've not bought it. But...
I'm a huge Worm Request fan. I wasn't entirely thrilled about the Silver Tower. It was a nice product, and actually some of the mechanics are pretty cool, but it wasn't what I wanted. And this seems a little closer to that. Plus, it's 40K, so it's a different animal. You know, it's not not a fantasy redone or whatever in the Age of Sigmar world. So very excited to play it. Other cool Kickstarters that are going on right now, I should mention Sean Sutter's launched his fourth, I think it's his fourth, Relic Blade.
The Mordorf expedition.
Yeah, it looks very cool. I really like the look of his dwarves that he did. Yeah, I can't see your link, Goblin. Yeah, I think it must be blocking it. Protano says, I am really interested in Blackstone Fortress, but after buying Silver Tower and still haven't finished the campaign or painting the minis, I was able to resist. It's a good thing. I've been thinking a lot about my New Year's resolutions, but I'll save that for, next month's Hangout when it's more pertinent. But yeah. Andy says, nah, it looks fun, but all my spare budget is going towards materials. Same for a 3D printer. Ooh, cool. What are you thinking about getting for a 3D printer? Is it going to be one of those liquid resin deals, or is it an extrudable one? I would love to have one of the plastic extruding ones to do terrain with. Those, a lot of cool kits and files out for that, it seems, these days.
That's partly what I've been painting. The commission I was doing this month was for 3D printed planes.
Cool. What was I working?
We have a whole arena for Arena Rex printed that way.
Oh, wow. Very cool. I saw the Guild Ball things. Did you paint them as well, or just do the sculpting?
Which one?
You did a bunch of balls, right? Or
Oh
trophy?
yeah, the balls. One of them I sculpted myself. The pumpkin I had sculpted myself.
Mm-hmm.
The frog was from the French National, and that was a trade. We did curling balls for the Canadian National, and we traded some from for theirs. I did the painting on those two.
Wow, they look great.
Yeah, we're working on the next year national to do something that will fit with the curling ball, but not replace it. So that's probably what I will be working on the next Hangout if that little guy is finished.
Awesome.
I think I'm up to 3 or 4 of those small custom balls.
Cool. Are they? And they're just there for various tournaments for Guild Ball?
Yeah, for events. We give them
cool.
as a swag for participants.
Very cool. There we go. That's so fun to be in a league or tournament and get something unique like that.
Yeah. And having a sculptor in the team help. They're not that complicated to do. They're small and they're pretty easy to cast because they're one mold, so no complexity there. So I casted them myself in the basement while sculpting. It's not the best result, but it works. It's gonna get better though. I just got a pressure tank.
Oh, cool.
This week. So and just before on the record the Hangout, I went and got my compressor for it. So I might be able to do more casting and better casting.
That's great, man.
I was waiting for that to try and cast my Hippo Ballerina and the other recent model I did. So if it works out, I'll have new sculpts with me at not new sculpts, but new miniatures at Adepticon.
Sweet. Very cool.
Have you started working on your Sega Warband for your game with Sean?
Yeah. This is what I've started. 4.
Aha.
I'm going to say it wrong. Hearthguard. That's how I just committed to saying it that way. Yes. So, yeah, I think I'm getting a little too granular with the colors and stuff. It's just base coats now. I haven't done any washes or anything, but it takes a little longer because I set them up to be able to go boop 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 boop. But then it's like, oh wait, but this guy's this color shirt and this guy's that color shirt.
Yeah, if it's your art guard, it's your elite unit.
Right. So that's what I'm telling myself. And I think I'm gonna do my warriors. I mean, I've got more of them as Hearthguard as well, but I'll probably do the next set of them all in the same color clothing, and then the other set of them all in the same clothing, and then just mix and match so they don't look like a bunch of twins.
Mm-hmm.
Although I don't know, it's kind of weird. I'm used to painting everybody uniform, but back then not everybody had the exact same clothing necessarily.
Also makes it easier to differentiate your units.
Yeah, that's a good point too. So I don't know. Maybe these will be the captains of. I'm sticking. It's mainly going to be Hearthguard for my whole army because I don't want to paint as many miniatures. I'll expand on it later. And it helps that I have. How many points do I have? I think I have 4 points of Hearthguard, and I think I only have 1 point of warriors. So I actually need to scrounge up 1 more point to have full 6. I wouldn't mind it being some Levy Bowmen, but that's 12 miniatures. I don't know if I can swing that in time for Adepticon. No, I should be able to, but it's just one more thing that I've got to, make a priority and
more stuff to
just keep building. Yeah. So, but I have to do it. I don't know. As long as I have a 4-point warband, I'll be okay. But I would like to bring a full 6-point. That's one of the things I plan on playing. I want to play Saga, Necromunda, and Relic Blade is what I'm planning on playing. Oh, and Rangers of Shadow Deep. I'm really hoping to be able to play some of that, especially if Joe McCullough is there again. I know they usually have a lot of Frostgrave events going on. I'm hoping he'll be there doing some stuff for his new Rangers game.
Have you got the PDF?
Oh yes, I do. I have it. Yep.
It's in my shortlist to get.
Cool. Yeah, I like Frostgrave. It's pretty cool, but I love the idea of the Rangers and everything. The world he's built up. Oh, I wish I didn't add that little bit of putty that I just did.
I'm looking for it to play with my son because he's still a bit young for strategy games, so playing it comparatively would be probably easier.
Yeah, and actually, I mean, as we were talking about it, I kind of forgot one of the biggest things is that it's co-op, which is very intriguing. So you can literally be playing together. Never done a miniatures game like that. I guess except for like Armor Quest, the some of those games, but technically those are board games, I guess. But I think it will feel similar.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I haven't finished the rules yet, but I'm eager to see how he tackles that enemy movement and everything. But I did read some of his articles, some of Joe's articles. He had some Frostgrave scenarios where it was like these Greeks scaling, I don't know, some Olympian mountain type thing, trying to kill a witch, and there were some rules in that for how he handled enemy AI. You would play it all by yourself, and it was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So very simple and straightforward, but had a lot of fun dynamic things happening. Let's see what we've got in the chat here. And he's getting an Anycubic photon dip resin printer. It's not mad expensive and can make good minis. Oh, that's cool. Goblin, did you see the Weta Workshop Kickstarter? Adam Savage visited when he was in New Zealand. There's a good video on YouTube. Is this the one? Oh yeah, this is their terrain one. Is that live right now?
I think it ended.
Okay. I didn't. So I missed that, but I was aware that it was I knew it was going to happen eventually, but so is that all 3D printed files?
It was supposed to be files, but I think it ended up just being you get the casted material, but I might be wrong. But the early promo were mentioning files.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. Wow. They were amazing kits. Yeah, you can buy it in the Kickstarter. Very cool. I think I need to do this guy's hands soon so I can put his gloves on. Oh gosh, what else do I have to make on this guy? This guy has his Expo. He's got his 2 daggers. He needs a short sword. Oof. Almost forgot about that. I'm going to sculpt that separately and stick it on, I think. Actually, I have one started here. I just need to start filing it down. It's a little thick, but that could work. Well, that's cool. So the terrain for what it wasn't originally digitally sculpted, it was Goblin saying they scanned it in and made files out of it. That's so cool that they can do that. Oh man, this is supposed to be a short sword. I'm going to cut this way down. Oh, oops. Just almost messed that up. Oh, I wanted to, I'll share this real quick. So I had a friend who got the Blackstone Fortress, and then he was singing the praises of Games Workshop's um, mold line remover.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, that'd be cool to get that. Maybe that'll make it all better and, strip the mold lines a lot easier and everything. So I'm looking at the site, I'm like, I'll go to the store and buy it real quick. But then I saw it $17.50 for a, just small fabricated thing of metal. So I made my own, which first of all, I should say, all I do when I scrape mold lines, I just take a X-Acto knife or my scalpel and I just, and that works great. So all theirs is, it's a little thicker than this. So I just took one of my scalpel blades and I just ground it down into this thin piece, so you can get into nicks and crannies. And it's not sharp, like you don't have an edge on it, and that's exactly how ours is. It's just it trims with whatever the corners of the remainder of the blade is. And this does work pretty well. This is a little flimsier than theirs, but this cost me like a penny instead of.
It, and
You,
it's thicker.
what'd you say?
I have it here, and it's quite thicker than just a blade. But
Gotcha. Do you like it?
I like it. I didn't pay it full price. That's why I have it.
Ah, yes. Okay. I would get it if it was half price, like immediately. I mean, it looks very nice.
And it's perfect for rustic miniatures.
Mm.
Those are.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think about that.
When you go with a blade, it kicks in.
Right.
But with that, it works fine. And I had a bunch of miniatures in that material, so it made it clean. It made cleaning a lot easier.
Wow, I'm glad you mentioned that. I wouldn't have thought to specifically try it with that, but I have several still as well, and that'd be nice to try it on that. Yeah, that can make quite a mess. But yeah, so if anybody else wants to try that tool but doesn't want to spend the money, you just get your Dremel tool and grind down an X-Acto blade or a scalpel blade. It works pretty well. All right. Does anybody else have any last minute questions before we sign off for the month of November? Okay, I think that's it. All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for joining me, especially you, Antoine. It's been great sculpting with you as usual. Yeah. Look forward to seeing you in March.
Me too.
All right. Thank you, everybody else, for watching and asking all your questions and sharing your comments. I will hopefully see you next month. We will be doing a same scheduled time and everything. Actually, let me check real quick.
It's gonna be between Christmas
see.
and New Year, right?
What day would that be? Yeah, I think it's right after Christmas. Last Wednesday is the 26th, the day after Christmas. I will be in town, and so I will be doing a hangout. So look forward to seeing you guys there. I hope you'll have a good. Everybody in America had a good Thanksgiving, and get some sculpting done. So, all right, everybody, have a great night. See you later.